Now we shall understand the poem line by line. The glories of our blood and state are shadows, not substantial things. Now, we as human beings, whatever we take pride of, for example, here blood doesn't mean literally the blood, the red liquid in our bodies. Here blood actually means the family the family line or the patronage. For example, I come from such and such family, my caste, high and low, all that we talk about, the family line. For example, Mehras, Ahujas. So that kind of a family line we are talking about. So the glories of our blood and state our position in our life, are shadows, not substantial things. They are only shadows. They are not anything real. Maya. Maybe in Sanskrit or in Hindi we call it as Maya. Not substantial things. They are not anything concrete. They are not something real. It is not anything real. There is no armor against fate. Now fate, again in Sanskrit we would call it as karma. There is no armor against fate. That means there is no protection, there is no safety against karma. Death lays his icy hand on kings. That means death is personified as a person, as a man who lays his icy hand. We know when people die, their bodies become cold and icy. So here death is personified as a man whose icy hands even lay on kings. That means there is no distinction between a king or a poor man who will be distinguished in front of death. All have to die, whether you are a king or a poor person. Scepter and crown. Now, what do we see on the head and in the hand of a king? On the head we see a crown and on the hand we see a scepter. Must tumble down. Tumble means fall down. And in the dust be equal made. With the poor crooked scythe and spade. Now you see the comparison here. Scepter and crown, which is the possession of a rich person or a king, must tumble down, which must fall down, and in the dust be equal made. Now all these things which are possessed by a rich person, when they have to face death, everything comes to nothing. That means everything comes to dust, everything becomes dust or made equal to dust. With the poor crooked scythe and spade. Now what is scythe? Scythe is nothing but a tool used in agriculture to cut the grass. A blade, curved blade attached with a long stick. Now, the scepter and crown will become equal to scythe and spade, which is used by an ordinary farmer. So, a king becomes equal to a poor farmer in front of death. So, that is the whole meaning of the first stanza. That whether you are a rich person or a poor person, all are equal in front of death. Now let's come to second stanza. Some men with swords may reap the field. Now in this whole stanza we are talking about warriors, soldiers, warriors who fight for the sake of maybe land, maybe for their country. Those who fight as warriors or soldiers. Some men with swords. Now soldiers or warriors, they use swords to capture different countries, land, anything else. So some men with swords may reap the field. Now reaping the field, nobody reaps the field with the help of a sword, but reaping the field here means conquering the land with the help of violence, with the help of sword. And plant fresh laurels where they kill. Now laurels. When soldiers win over certain lands, win over certain countries, what are they awarded with? They are awarded with some kind of laurels. For example, our army men, when they fight in a war, when they do very well in that war, when they show their bravery, they are given certain stars or some medals. They are actually called laurels. But their strong nerves at last must yield. Now, even those soldiers, those warriors in the war, they all have to face death. Yield. Yield means they have to bend